Never. No one did. Not one drop of a dream of an anything, zero, zip, nada, zilch. All anybody thought was, could we possibly make it to the next day? Could we possibly find a way to finish this movie? And that permeated, that sense of embattled, that sense of being embattled sort of ran through the entire film production. And it did from beginning to end. And, I mean, everyone knew going in that this was a good script. Everyone knew going in that Catherine's a real director. But not one person, guaranteed. I know for certain Catherine, I know for certain Mark, I know for certain any of the producers, none of us ever dreamt that it was going to wind up becoming this extraordinary, Academy Award-winning film. I mean, no, just the first, when we screened it in Venice, at the Venice Film Festival, and received a standing ovation. I mean, that was the first moment that it was unveiled to the world, and it was like, wow. But nobody bought it, and then we went to Berlin, and everyone went, wow. But nobody bought it.
You didn't have American distribution set up in advance?
No. What we had was a very, very courageous financing producer, named Nicolas Chartier, who went out, sold this movie, sold the hell out of it. I mean, just think in the climate. I mean, everybody knows that war movies don't make it. War movies set in Iraq really don't make it. They've never made it. All they've done is been there's a graveyard of films that have tried to do this, and none of them work. And Chartier went out and somehow pulled together a bunch of money by selling off foreign territories piece by piece by piece by piece. And even so, he hadn't been able to sell enough territories to raise the capital we needed, because I told him I need 11. This script needs a certain amount of money. And he wound up in the end putting up his own money. I mean, which, violates every adage there is. But he really believed in this, and, he stood right up there and put his money where his mouth was.
Did the tension, the urgency, the tentativeness on set, you think, add to the excitement of the production, much as an actor utilizes whatever's going on with them to put into the acting? That's
a good question, and I don't know the answer to that. What I would say is that I've found very often that the story in front of the camera is often mirrored behind the camera, and so this was certainly a very tense, intense film to make, and in the same way as the characters in the movie were always, they were not kissy face huggy bear with each other, but they were consummate professionals, constantly watching out for each other, and constantly striving to be and do the very best they could under enormously difficult circumstances. And I would say that would also describe the experience of the movie on the other side of the camera for the film crew. In my mind, yes. There would be no way to prove that to be so. But I have had experiences where a perfectly good script is eventually deadened by actually having too much time and too much money. And the result is that filmmakers, whether they're the director or the production designer or the producer or the cameraman or the actor, because there's so much money available and time available, there's a tendency to work expands to fill the space, and at a certain moment it becomes less than useful. And so sometimes you suck the life out of a movie by having too much at your disposal. That's not to say that a movie that costs millions of dollars, 40, 50, 100, 200, $350 million, that's not to say that money is not well spent, or that that's the case in all. But I have experienced that on movies that I have done. In this case, what our limitations did for the film is it imparted a certain kind of urgency to our work, because there was no second chance. There was not like, well, let's shoot the scene, see if we like it, and then, well, we can always come back and shoot it again if we don't like it. And there was very much a sense of, we're here, we've got this work, we've got to accomplish this work in this period of time. So